Greetings, gentlemen. Coach Wintercheck here. Hope you're doing well. We wanted to come to you at this point in time and start sharing some offensive overview information with you in regard to some things that you're going to be seeing in the 2020 football season. And starting off with some offensive objectives. And so, we made some observations at the end of this last year. And so we really feel like there's some change that needs to happen within our offense in order to avoid some of the same bad habits that we found this last year. And so we created a system of objectives, and here is that list. And so what you're going to see here is there are 6 offensive objectives. All right, the first offensive objective is this: it is to sustain drives. All right, and the way that we want to do that is we want to eliminate drive killers. And when we talk about drive killers, we're talking about number 1, turnovers, number 2, turnover on downs. Number 3, situations where we go plus 30, minus 40. And we want to eliminate the 3rd and long situation. We found ourselves with a lot of those things in the past. We want to eliminate those because those things keep us from scoring. Right. The second thing is that we want to utilize a ball control offense that chips away yards consistently with a small margin for error. All right. We made quite a few mistakes this past year. We want to avoid those mistakes. And so we want to create a situation where we're chipping away yards instead of we miss a pass this down and then we miss a pass the next down, and so we're throwing a 30-yard ball on 3rd and long and whatnot. So ball control is one of the keys, all right, and consistently small margin for error is another one of those keys. All right, the third offensive objective is that we want to create big play opportunities by executing fundamentals well. All right, here's what we mean by that is that, a big play doesn't require a 50-yard pass. A big play requires 6 people doing their job, all right? And so when 6 people do their job well and they execute the fundamental skill necessary for that play, all right, there is a big play opportunity there. Right, and so we want to create big plays, but we want to do that by executing the fundamentals well. There's going to be a time that we'll chunk a ball 40 or 50 yards downfield, but we want the big play opportunity in each play instead of just in the plays where we're chunking it down the field. All right, the fourth offensive objective is we want to convert when we're in the red zone. And this was one of our Achilles heels this past year. We would get inside the 20 and then we wouldn't score. And we work hard to get there. I remember there's several games we had 250, close to 300 yards offense, but we'd score 6 points. And that's a challenge when we're eating up offense or eating up yards and we're not scoring. So we want to convert in the red zone. The fifth offensive objective is that we want to score 7 of 10 possessions. All right, and so if we're scoring on 70% of our drives, all right, that's going to give us a significantly more offensive output this year than we had in the year before. The sixth thing is that we want to eliminate the opportunity to have the all-district punter. And so when I say that, that's nothing against our punter last year. He did a wonderful job. But when we get to the all-district meeting and we put punters up on the board, and all of a sudden, this guy's got 4 punts, and this guy's got 5 punts, and this guy's got 20 punts. Well, that's not a good sign when we've got 20 punts. All right. So we want to eliminate the opportunity to have the all-district punter. That doesn't mean that we had to convert every single set of downs, but it does mean that we want to be far enough down the field that if it's 4th down and it's 4th and 12, and I feel good about our offense, then I'm going to go for it. All right, and I don't want to punt. But we can't do that if we're backed up behind our own 20. So those are our 6 offensive objectives, and you're going to see those come back, and you'll see them pop up from here throughout the rest of football season. The next thing we wanted to talk to you about is that you're going to see a shift in our base offense. All right, we're not going to completely scrap what we ran last year, but the base will change. All right, we're going to be moving to a set that I call the Jet. It's traditionally known as the Jaybird. It involves things like vertical and horizontal stretch. So the alignment, we'll talk about alignment here in a second, but the vertical and horizontal stretch of the field. We're going to be able to line up in a tight formation yet still stretch the field. It involves things like vertical running. All right, so we're not spending time in the backfield sitting and waiting for anybody. We're attacking the line, and we want to get there quickly. It involves things like misdirection, seal and cut blocking, and precise exchanges. All right, so you're going to see that shift because we feel like that jet offense is what we need to create a ball controlled system so that we're chipping away yards with a small margin for error. This next slide here talks about alignment, and we're going to come back to horizontal stretch. And it kind of shows you what our splits are going to look like and what that formation looks like. But our splits will actually sometimes be farther than this between the 5 and the 6 man, as long as somebody doesn't hop in our gaps. But the base is this, is that the split, the 2-gap split, and we'll talk about the 2-gap in a second, all right, between the 4 and the 5 is 1.5 yards. The gap between the 5 and the 6 is 2 yards. All right, now if you look over here at the distance between the 1 and the 2, all right, we call that a 1-by-1 split. So the 2's right foot is going to be 1 yard back and 1 yard off from the 1's left foot. And then the 3 is going to be directly behind the 2, but he's 3 yards back. All right, so that's the alignment. Again, we will split out a little bit farther between that 5 and the 6, or even the 4 and the 5 sometimes too, as long as nobody hops in that gap, but that's where we're going to start out. Now, when we talk about gaps, here's the gap system. All right, we have everything, in regard to even numbers is to the right, odd numbers is to the left. That's pretty common. There will be times that we flip the formation. Those times will be very few and far between, but we will do that. We'll talk about later what happens with the gaps when we flip the formation. All right, but this is your gap labeling system here. Let's hit on play calling for a bit. Play calling will be something you probably are familiar with. There's some things that are similar that we've talked about this last year. So this will sound familiar to you, but just a review in that. The first call that you're going to hear in a play call is the formation. All right, so jet is the formation we're talking about right now. The second call is the backfield call. All right, and in that backfield call, the first number is the player and the second number is the gap. So if we say 34, that means that the 3-man's getting the ball, he's headed to the 4-gap. If you hear a number and then the word jack and another number, what that means is that the first number is the fake and the second number is actually the ball carrier. All right, so for example, if you hear 35 jack 24, it means we're jacking with them. We're gonna make them think we're running 35, but we're really running 24, which means the 2-man's going to the 4-gap and he's getting the ball. All right, so we're going to fake the 35 and run the 24. The third call is the line or receiver's call, right? So in this, you hear the formation, the jet, all right, the backfield, 34, and then line and receivers, all right, and that in the play we're going to see here in just a bit is hammer. All right, so each call has rules. You must know your line and receiver rules for each call. All right, so for example, hammer. All right, that means the 4-man's line rules are he's going to look head up, and if there's somebody there, he's going to block that. If not, he's going to look gap away. And if there's somebody there, he's going to block that. And if not, he's going to look to the backer. Okay, 5-man. His rules are the same. Head up, gap away, backer, in that order. 6-man, gap away, backer. There's no head up on that. All right, so that's an example there of what it will look like and what the play call would look like and what the responsibilities that we would have to know are as well. Now, a couple of things that are just general rules. And here's the first one. A general rule for backs is that we want to get vertical, all right? We want to be at 2 seconds or less to the line of scrimmage. Time spent in the backfield is generally wasted time, all right? For the line, our general rule is we want to seal the gap. All right, we don't have to make the gap. We just seal the ones that are already there. All right, so in theory, what we're going to do is we're going to build a wall and not let a defender pass that wall. Okay. The next general rule for quarterbacks is that we want to get rid of the ball and we want to block. Okay. If it is a running play, if it's a passing play and you're the passer, all right, we still want to get rid of the ball. We don't have a whole lot of time. All right, but we want to get rid of the ball and we want to block. Those are some general rules for backs, linemen, and quarterbacks. Now, we're going to look at this play right quick, and this is something that you're probably familiar with, all right, and this is called Jet 34 Hammer. And I want to let you kind of look at this, and we'll go through this one. I will tell you this, is that the base of our offense is what everything else stems off of. All right. And you're going to see there's really about 4 or 5 running plays that open up everything else. And we've got to be able to establish those run plays so that the other things will open up. All right. This is 34 hammer. And if you look at what's happening here, all right, we're sealing with the 4 and the 5 and the 6. All right, we're building the wall. And if you look, here's the wall. It's right here. All right, we're not letting anybody pass that area right there. Okay. Now, the 1 is using a technique that we call the veer pitch. All right, and this is something that we will learn as the summer rolls along. And some of you I've worked a little bit already with on this, but the veer pitch is a blind pitch. All right, we put the ball up, all right, over our ear hole in our helmet, and we drop it over just like we're dropping it in a trash can. All right, once we do that, all right, we're going to do 1 of 2 things, and this 1 and 2 are kind of interchangeable. All right, we're either going to have the 1 go up field and the 2 is going to come over here and kick force, or we'll switch those and the 1 will kick force and the 2 will go up field. Now, the 3, all right, this is where it's kind of tricky. All right, the 3 is going to take 1 step, we call it a veer step, to the right, and then he's going. He's not sitting back and waiting for the pitch. We're going to drop the pitch right here, so he's going to run under it, all right, and he's going to hit that gap, and we want him there in 2 seconds or less. And what we've got to do from this 3-back position is we've got to learn to trust that that gap's going to be there, because a lot of times it looks like it's not. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go into so much detail on some of these others, but I just want you to take a look at a few of these base plays, all right, these base run plays that you'll be seeing, and you'll see these almost immediately when we come into training camp. All right, this is 35 skip. All right, this is a read play. You were still getting to the line fast, but we're going to read and see if we are given the outside or the cutback. Now, I will tell you this, we need to be looking for the cutback every single time we run this. That doesn't mean we go to the cutback every time, but we're looking for it. Because what tends to happen is this defensive backfield shifts. And as we come off the line with these 2 gentlemen, they tend to think that we are running a pass route. But it opens up this running lane. And it's almost like clockwork that this lane will open up and we'll see this cutback available to us. All right, the next thing here is 33 base. All right, this is a play that's hitting that 3 gap. All right, this is 31 base. And then a couple of misdirection plays, 35 jack 24, 35 jack 21, 34 jack 61. All right, so that is just some information that we have for you. We wanted you to start looking at and considering over the next few weeks as you've got some time, and to start just kind of trying to understand the concepts that we're going to be throwing at you. We'll create some more videos to throw your way in the coming days and weeks, but we wanted you to just kind of have an understanding of some of the base things that you're going to see and how they're changing in our offense this upcoming year. All right, gentlemen, you have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk to you soon. God bless you. Take care.